Everyone who looks at my life thinks I am lucky. My name is David. I am 36 years old. I live in a nice house with a clean yard and quiet neighbors. I drive a good car. I have a stable job that pays well. Nothing in my life looks broken. From the outside, everything seems complete. Every morning, I wake up next to my wife, Emily. She is kind, gentle, and beautiful. She loves me deeply, and I know it. I see it in the way she looks at me, as if I am the center of her world. She wakes up before me, even when she is tired. When I walk into the kitchen, the coffee is already hot. The smell fills the room. Breakfast is ready. Toast, eggs, everything just the way I like it. Emily smiles and says, "Good morning, David." I smile back and answer, "Good morning, Emily." My lunch is always prepared carefully. She puts it into a neat box and slips a small note inside. The note always says the same thing: "Have a wonderful day. I love you." I read that note every single day. And every day, something heavy settles in my chest. At work, people talk about how lucky I am. They say I have a perfect marriage, a perfect home, a perfect life. I nod and laugh with them. I play my role well. I have learned how to smile at the right time and say the right words. But when the house becomes quiet, when there is no one watching, the truth comes back. I sit alone and feel empty. Not angry. Not unhappy in a loud way. Just empty. Like something important is missing, even though everything is there. Here is my secret, the one I never say out loud: I do not love my wife. Emily is not cruel. She is not cold. She has done nothing wrong. And that makes it even worse. I live in a marriage that is right in every way, except one. There is no passion in my heart. No warmth. Only gratitude, routine, and silence. I am not trapped by her. I am trapped by my own lie. Everyone thought I was living a dream. But I was living inside a lie. 5 years ago, my life did not look like this. There was no house, no car, no stability. I had a small business back then, something I built with hope and long nights. I believed in it too much. When it failed, everything fell at once. I lost my company. I lost my money. I lost my confidence. One by one, my friends disappeared. Phone calls stopped. Messages went unanswered. I became invisible. I slept in my old car for a while. Some nights were cold. Some nights were loud. I did not eat much because I could not afford to. I remember staring at the ceiling of that car, asking myself how a man could fall so far so fast. I felt ashamed. I felt useless. I honestly thought my life was over. That was when I met Emily. She worked at a small cafe near the street where I parked my car. I went there every morning for the cheapest coffee, mostly just to sit somewhere warm. One day, she came to my table and looked at me carefully. Not with pity. Not with judgment. Just concern. She said, "You look tired. Are you okay?" I don't know why, but I told her everything. I told her about my business, my failure, my fear, my loneliness. She did not interrupt me. She did not try to fix me. She just listened. When I finished, she brought me a big plate of food and placed it in front of me. I said I couldn't pay. She smiled and said, "It's okay. Sometimes people need help." That moment stayed with me. After that, I went to the cafe every day. Emily talked to me. She remembered my name. She remembered small details. She helped me find a cheap apartment. She helped me look for work. It wasn't a great job, but it was a beginning. Slowly, my life came back together. And Emily was there for every step of it. In my darkest time, she was my light. She didn't ask for anything. She didn't expect anything. She simply cared. I felt something strong for her. But now I know it wasn't love. It was gratitude mixed with relief. I wanted to repay her kindness. I wanted to give her security. I wanted to be the man she believed I could be. So when I asked her to marry me, it felt right in my mind. I thought love would grow later. I thought stability would turn into passion. I thought being thankful was enough. I was wrong. Emily saved my life. But I made the mistake of giving her my future. The more time passed, the more perfect Emily became. When I was sick, she took days off work without hesitation. She stayed beside my bed, brought me soup, checked my temperature, reminded me to take my medicine. She read quietly while I slept, and when I woke up, she smiled like caring for me was a gift, not a burden. Every act of love felt gentle, sincere, and undeserved. And the more she gave, the heavier my chest reminded me of the truth I was hiding. Guilt is a strange thing. It does not scream. It whispers. It sits quietly and waits until the room is silent. I felt it every morning when Emily kissed my cheek before work. I felt it every night when she rested her head on my shoulder. I was receiving everything a man could ask for, yet inside, I felt smaller every day. Last month was my birthday. I came home late from work, tired and distracted. The house was dark. As soon as I opened the door, the lights turned on. Our friends shouted my name. There was music, laughter, balloons, a cake with candles. Emily stood in the middle of it all, glowing with happiness. She had planned everything. People hugged me, laughed with me, congratulated me on my perfect life. I smiled, thanked everyone, blew out the candles. Inside, I felt nothing. It was like watching myself from far away, playing a role I had memorized too well. My life had become a performance, and I no longer knew where the stage ended. A week later, Emily cooked my favorite meal. She lit candles. She wore the dress she knew I liked. The evening was warm and quiet. She held my hand and looked at me with eyes full of hope. Then she said it, softly, like it was the most natural next step in the world. "David, our life is so good. I think we're ready. Let's have a baby." Her words hit me harder than any anger could have. A child. A life built on my silence. A future locked inside a lie. I looked at her smiling face and felt panic rise in my throat. I imagined a child calling me father, trusting me, learning love from a man who could not give it honestly. I imagined Emily growing older beside someone who never truly chose her. In that moment, I understood something clearly for the first time. Staying silent would not protect anyone. It would destroy all three of us slowly. A baby would have been the final lock on a cage I built myself. I sat there, listening to the silence between us grow heavier. Emily was still smiling, still dreaming out loud about a future she believed was safe. And in that moment, I understood something I had been running from for years. Love cannot be learned. It cannot be earned through gratitude. And it cannot be forced through sacrifice. I realized that every day I stayed with her out of guilt, I was betraying her again. I was stealing time from her life. Time she could spend with someone who truly chose her, not someone who stayed because he felt indebted. The truth would hurt her deeply, I knew that. But a lie like mine would hurt her longer. It would quietly destroy her future, 1 year at a time. I looked at my hands. They were shaking. My heart was beating fast, not from fear of losing everything, but from the weight of finally doing the right thing. I thought about how much she had given me when I had nothing. And that was exactly why I had to stop lying. I raised my eyes and looked at her. Her face was open, trusting, full of hope. That made the words harder, but also necessary. I took a deep breath and began to speak. I told her that what I felt for her was gratitude, not love. That she had saved my life, but I had mistaken that salvation for romance. I told her she deserved a man who loved her freely, not someone who stayed out of obligation. I knew I would lose my home, my comfort, and the life everyone admired. But I also knew this: a beautiful lie feels kind, until it destroys someone's future. If you believe the truth, even when painful, is better than a gentle lie, like this story. Comment below, Should gratitude ever be a reason to stay? And subscribe to learn English through real-life stories with deep emotional meaning.